We've all been there, trust me. We all hate having those long days at work. But have you ever gotten to the end of one of those days and then thought to yourself, I felt like I was busy all day, but it doesn't seem like I actually got anything done. Trust me, when I first started working, this was a feeling that I got all the time. But if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tyler Warlow. I make videos on things that I wish I knew when I was younger. All these videos focus around how to improve your life through your confidence, capabilities, and overall happiness. In today's video, I wanted to talk about some of the productivity tools that I have personally used to help improve my productivity at work. This took me from feeling like I worked all day but still got nothing done to accomplishing several important tasks pretty much every day and helping to move my projects forward. Hopefully you will find one or all of these tools to be useful to you. If that sounds interesting to you, let's go ahead and jump into the video. So first off, let's talk about why it can feel like you worked so hard all day, but then never got anything actually done. This is because while you were busy, you may not have actually been that productive. And there is a difference between the two. Being busy means that you filled your day with various tasks, but whether or not those tasks are actually important and help drive projects to completion is a different matter. Being productive is finding the most important tasks and being intentional in their execution. So that way, whatever progress you make, it is progress that is helping to actually move the project forward. This can apply both in your personal life and your professional life, but obviously in today's video, we're going to be covering it in regards to your work. Being productive means that you've planned out your time and you're intentional with the work that you're doing. You're not letting yourself get pulled into your inbox all the time or get sucked up into every meeting. Now that we've got the difference between busyness and productivity covered, let's go ahead and jump into the first tool. The first tool is a relatively simple one that I use on a daily basis now, and that's determining your 3 most important tasks. I've talked about this in other videos such as my planning method video, but essentially the idea is that you're going to want to determine what your top 3 tasks are for the day. These top 3 tasks should be treated as the top 3 things that you have to get done. Everything else should come secondary to these top 3 tasks. Now, you're not going to always accomplish all 3 of them every single day, but the intent is that these are major tasks that actually help drive your projects and your work to completion. And by ensuring that you're setting aside specific time to work on them and focus on them, you're ensuring that you're actually going to make that progress that your project needs. If that tool seems too general for you and you would like a tool that actually helps you to prioritize the different tasks that you have, then this next tool might be for you. The next tool is going to be called the Eisenhower matrix, but it's also known as the urgent and important matrix. The concept is pretty simple here. You're essentially going to make a 4x4 grid. The left of the matrix is going to be urgent, the right of the matrix is going to be not urgent, and then the top of the matrix is going to be important, and the bottom of the matrix is going to be not important. So let's distinguish really quick the difference between urgent and important tasks, because I recognize that those sound the same. Urgent tasks are tasks that need to get done immediately or in the near future. Essentially, they have some form of deadline. An important task is something that is going to have consequences to it if it doesn't get accomplished. So you can have items that fall within both categories, but essentially that's how you will classify the two. So using this matrix, you're going to want to take your daily to-do list or your list of tasks that you have and classify them into these different blocks of time. Each block in the matrix is going to give you a different task that you need to do with these individual tasks. So if something ends up being urgent and important, that's going to go in the top left category. And that top left category are going to be things that you need to do. So these are things that you're going to focus your time on and actually try to accomplish. The top right block in the matrix is going to be important but not urgent. So essentially these are things that will need to get done but don't have a deadline right on the horizon. Any tasks that fall within this block you are going to schedule for the future. You're going to set aside time intentionally on your calendar so that way you are making sure that they actually get done. Going down to the bottom left, you're going to have things that are urgent but not necessarily important. So if they're not important, then you shouldn't be focusing your time on them. That means anything that falls within this block, you are going to delegate to other people. Now, You do want to be aware that this is going to kind of be depending on your role and level in the company. But if you do have a level of seniority and you're able to delegate tasks, this is where those tasks would fall. Now, the final block on the bottom far right is going to be tasks that aren't important and aren't urgent. And frankly, if they fall into those two categories, that means that they should be deleted. You shouldn't be wasting your brain power trying to figure out when you're going to get them done if they're not important. And obviously, if there's no obvious timeline for them, then there's no reason to be thinking about them. The Eisenhower matrix is going to be really useful for those of you who are working on multiple projects or multiple tasks at a time in helping you to know how to prioritize them. I've personally used this tool when I have a lot of different projects at once, but I don't necessarily feel the need to use it on a daily basis if I'm only working on one or two things. The next tool we're going to talk about in this video is something that I've already talked about in previous videos, but that's going to be time blocking. Essentially, this is a way for you to control your time. On your calendar, you're going to want to block out specific chunks of time for you to perform the tasks that you've deemed as your top priorities. The reason this is important is because it's going to help you to establish your intention for the day. This allows you to make a plan to tackle the tasks rather than just coming in at the beginning of the day knowing you have tasks to do, but not really having a general timeline or idea of when you're going to work on them. When you have free space in your calendar, this is how other small tasks and things come in and eat up that time unexpectedly because you didn't really have any intention set for that time. The other nice thing that this does is it makes your calendar appear full to other people. So if people need to do meetings, they're not necessarily going to set those meetings in times where you're trying to focus on your work and get things done. This is going to allow you to continue working without getting interrupted, therefore allowing you to get more done. Now, obviously, if meetings are important or urgent, you do need to take those, but try your best to stick to the calendar that you set yourself for the day. The nice thing that this also does is it allows you to track what you've been working on and really see what have I been doing for the day. Make sure that when you are time blocking that you're also setting aside time for things like administrative tasks because most people don't think about the time that that takes to do and then it ends up becoming much more of a workload than they realize when they've put it off till the end of the week. Now, in regards to the small tasks and administrative things, let's talk about a rule you can use to determine how to prioritize them. A lot of times when it comes to these small tasks, people take a while to get them done because there's so many of them and they don't necessarily know which ones to work on. But what you can do is use something called the 2-minute rule. Essentially, if this is something that is only going to take 2 minutes or less, just go ahead and take care of it immediately. Knock it off the list, and that way your brain is free from thinking about it. If it's going to end up taking more than 2 minutes, then you need to think about task triage, or how you can accomplish this task without necessarily dedicating your own personal time to it. This is going to be a similar concept to the Eisenhower matrix, but if you have a task that is more than 2 minutes, then you're either going to need to do it, delegate it to someone else, defer it, or delete it. What this 2-minute rule helps to accomplish is it keeps your to-do list from growing into this giant list of small tasks and overwhelming you. A lot of times when you have a giant to-do list, your brain feels scattered and you have a hard time focusing on what you really need to focus on. So this helps you to eliminate those small tasks and really see the most important things. Now, the final thing that I'm going to talk about is something that you can either do at the beginning of the day, the end of the day, or both. I personally do this at the beginning of the day, but you're essentially going to want to have some sort of workday startup or workday end ritual. This is the time that you'll take to actually plan whatever it is you need to do in the following workday. I personally like to do it at the beginning of the day so I can have a fresh perspective on everything that needs to be done and prioritize based on that. But a lot of other people like to also do it at the end of the day, so that way they're not having to waste their time and energy at the start of the day doing it. Essentially, you're going to want to review what you accomplished in the previous workday or during the day that you're working on, and then go over the tasks that you need to do, set up your most important tasks, and then move/delegate anything else. Again, this just helps you to prepare and stay on top of things rather than having a bunch of stuff slowly build up that you're not necessarily even aware of. that's going to bring us to the end of today's video, y'all. Hopefully you found the information in it to be helpful or informative. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to join me along in this self-improvement journey. If you're interested in more videos like this one where I talk about career-related topics, be sure to check out this video right here where I talk about red flags from management. If you're more interested in my most recent stuff, be sure to check out this video right here. But until the next time, this is Tyler Warlow, signing off.